I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about neglecting women makes them give up. So one of the things that I think a lot of guys do that cause them to get broken up with is they neglect their partner. In the beginning, we're usually excited about the relationship and how great this person seems, but over time we start to take them for granted. We start to focus on how we feel, and we become a little bit more selfish. And if you're going to be in a connection with another person, it takes two people to nurture it. It takes two people to take care of it, and two people to consider it and consider the other person's feelings. But what happens a lot of times is we start to focus on other things and just kind of assume that the person we're with is going to stay with us. No matter how much we neglect them, ignore them, hurt them, we think they're just going to tolerate it. But over time, people lose more and more attraction. And unless you become attuned to your partner and conscious of yourself and your own attachment traumas, you're going to continually neglect people, make them feel uncared about, and do things that push them away. Sometimes you may be doing it unconsciously, that you're unaware of it, sometimes consciously. But you have to be aware of these things, and this is why we're always trying to educate. This is why I have workbooks and I have the creative healing course, because you really got to work through your own stuff as an adult to have a great dating life. The issues that you have in your childhood and from your childhood, they're there. Whether you're going to ignore them or not, they're going to rule and dictate your life. And the less work that you do on yourself, the more likely the hurt that you have from your childhood and those unmet needs and the traumas that you experienced impact you in a negative way, and you just don't even realize it. You got to take that stuff and make it conscious. And when you do, you have to do something about it. And if you don't, you're just going to continue living your life the same way you always have, and you're going to continue to have failed relationships. Okay? You always want to think about how you got to where you are right now. And you and your thoughts and ideas about dating and relationships, all of those things that you've had in your life have led you to where you are right now. And if you're not happy with where you are right now, you have to do something about it. You are the only person that can do something about it. But one of the big things that I see is neglect. Neglecting your partner, not thinking about what they need and how they're feeling about a situation. Now, we can't always compromise on some things, but you have to do your best about trying to hear that person, what they need, where their perspective is on things, and understand them. And the more that you do that, the more likely you're going to have a healthy connection. And I do want to say one thing before I get in this email coaching. When someone doesn't feel like a priority, it causes us physical pain. It literally hurts us. So when you hear people saying they're hurt, they are literally hurting from physical pain from neglect and abandonment. So today's email coaching is from a couple in their mid-30s, okay? And they've been seeing each other for a couple of years. He starts off by saying, "I had not been honest about my situation with her. I was separated and still living with my ex in our house as we have a child together." So, a couple of big issues right off the bat. First of all, he's still living with his ex. Now he says separated, Does that mean they were married and just separated? Could be. But bottom line is, he's still living with his ex. They have a child together, and he had not been honest about it from the get-go. Okay? He says, after I told her the situation, she was angry, but said she loved me and still wanted to see if we could make it work. Okay? So she let it slide that you had hidden that from her, and maybe as she heard more details, she felt more comfortable with it. Maybe if you were being transparent and honest with her about the situation, she could see, you weren't happy in that relationship. It had ended, but it was a struggle for you to leave because of the child, which can be very difficult, A lot of people wouldn't want to give up spending their time with their kids every day, not seeing them every day. It's not only hurtful for you and painful as a parent, but also for a kid that doesn't understand. It's very difficult. So it's totally understandable why he would struggle with that. So we started dating each other at the start of 2023. We also text each other throughout the day, and it felt like we were soulmates. Well, too much texting leads to breakup, so just be careful. I'm not sure if that's going to impact the situation, but for those of you guys that aren't aware of this, texting, you want to keep it to a minimal here and there, but you really want to be setting up dates, especially in the early stages of dating, right? Our connection was like nothing I've ever experienced with anyone before. However, she felt unsure of my situation, living with my ex, and wanted to take things slowly. Well, that is a wise decision. I mean, there are many people that would not be transparent, would lie and hide things, and, then you find out later. I mean, maybe you were even saying, you know what, I am transparent. I do want you to meet my ex, I do want you to meet my ex, just so you can see that I'm being upfront with things. But a lot of shady stuff can happen in situations like this. She hoped I'd move out of my home, but I dragged my feet largely because I don't want to leave my young child. I mean, it's understandable, right? Especially for those of you that are really close with your kids. Not everybody is close with their kids. Not everybody, is a really involved parent. But someone that is going to have a tough time not seeing them every day. We continued to see each other for all of 2023 and went on holidays together and did everything a normal couple would. But she eventually got sick of the fact that she couldn't have a normal relationship with me. I mean, he can't have her staying the night at his place. I'm sure there's a limited amount of time he's able to see her. I don't know if his ex, I don't know if it's a wife or a girlfriend, whatever, knows that he's dating or if he's secretly dating. Obviously, all these things make it more complicated. Earlier this year, she said she just wanted to be friends. However, it didn't last long and we were intimate again not long after. But then she started putting her walls up, wasn't kind to me, and just more cold in general. Sounds to me like she was going back and forth in her mind on what she could do or not do to stay with you or keep in this relationship. And eventually it was just getting too painful for her and she couldn't do it anymore. This continued for a month or so until last month when she finally said she can't speak to me any longer. It was hurting her and she couldn't be with me because she didn't want a child and felt she wouldn't be my first priority. Okay, I do believe that it was hurting her. And I do believe she feels like she wouldn't be a first priority. And quite frankly, how could she be? When you have young children or a young child, they have to be your priority because they can't take care of themselves. They need to be looked after. They have to constantly be watched. I mean, depending on the age. I mean, if you're a parent, you know, if there's 2 minutes of silence in the house, your kid is up to no good. Okay? So I believe that. As far as her not wanting a child, I'm not sure. I think that was kind of like the other things were upsetting her so much that she decided to complain about that too, because she knew you had kids from the get-go and she said she loved you, right? So when her interest level was high, it didn't matter. It's that her interest level dropped because of these other things that she started complaining about you having a kid. I said this was fair as I didn't have any response to convince her otherwise. So I did the no contact rule for a week or so, and she reached out. And she said she needs me as a friend. Ugh, oh, that's awful. Makes you sick to your stomach, doesn't it? I want to vomit for them. Of course, you want to be friends with your partner. I mean, it's great if you can be their best friend and more, but when you don't get the romance aspect of it, that's when it's going to feel like torture, especially because he's been with her for a long time and he loves her. And then what, you're going to be friends with her and listening to her talk about dating other people? I don't think so. No way. That's torture. Who wants to do that? You're going to have to listen to them. And because if you're their friend, that means you have to listen to them talk about their new relationship and who they're dating. And then you feel second best to somebody else? No thanks. Not going to work for me. If you guys want to do it, you can, but it's going to be really, really painful if you love somebody and you want to be with them. He said, I, of course, said yes. We have been friends for a few weeks now, and it's really hurting me. Yeah, no doubt. She is going out with her friends and meeting other guys she met on a trip. I don't know if it's romantic or not, but it makes me feel very jealous. This is what I'm talking about. You're going to feel very jealous. You're going to be obsessively thinking about it. You don't want friendship. You don't want friendship. And so you're not being authentic by telling her you're going to be her friend. Okay? You're not really being genuine with her anymore. You're pretending to be something that you're not. And not only is that fake, but it's painful. And so why do it to yourself? Do you really want to be friends with somebody that you love? I couldn't do it. It's killing me now, and I don't know what to do. I feel like I am a backup for her, just in case she can't find someone else. Yes, and you might be a backup for her, because she is actively looking for other people. And you never want to be somebody's backup. No way. That is not where you want to position yourself. Nobody wants their backup plan, okay? You want to be the person that they're excited to be with. And if they're not excited to be with you and they only see you as your backup, get out of the picture as fast as possible, because you are only going to prolong your misery and your suffering every day when you're obsessively thinking about them and the situation. And then they're telling you about dates they're going on, or they're posting stuff on social media. It's just no good. No good for your mental health. No good for you to move forward and for them to miss you and to regret losing you, because ultimately you need somebody to see your value. And sometimes they have to lose you before they see your value. Am I right in my thinking? We are now texting each other constantly again. Oh, that's even worse. Because every text you're sending her is, your agenda is trying to get her back and be with her. But you're living this lie that you're pretending to be her friend when you don't really want to be her friend. I mean, what if she gets a new boyfriend? You're going to be her friend? You're going to talk to her when you're miserable and listening to her to talk about how great her new boyfriend is? That sounds like torture to me. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't recommend you do it. And I don't think it will help your chances of reattracting somebody. My question is, how do I get her to want to be more than just friends with me? Have I ruined my chances already? Well, first of all, you can't continue to be friends. I would not ever recommend that. I know some coaches will try and tell you to do it, but they just see you as settling for less. It's like your boss walking in saying, hey, by the way, we're cutting your pay in half, and they walk out of the room. Well, if you keep working, you're just going to get half of what you've been earning. You're going to be miserable, right? You're not going to be happy there any longer. Think about it. My living situation is still complex as I am still living with my ex for our child. Yeah, and see, the problem is if you move out now and you don't get back together with her, then you're going to be unhappy thinking, oh, I only moved out because I wanted to get her back. So you really have to move out because you feel like it's the right thing for you to do in your life. And find a way to deal with your situation with your ex in a healthy way. So it's not toxic and there's no fighting. You want to try and, be cordial to the best that you can. I don't know if she wants to be with you or not any longer or what she thinks of the situation, but you got to handle it like an adult slowly and move out because you feel like it's the right thing to do and you can handle it like an adult. Don't move out just because you're trying to get her back, because she'll know it. She'll sense it. And that will make her angry because she's going to say, well, why didn't you do that when we were together? Why are you doing it now that I moved out and that I left you? Okay, I have no idea how to move on for this and I'm really struggling. So any helpful suggestions would be appreciated. Okay, so obviously right now you're still living with your ex and your child, and that's got to get sorted out. Because if you're still living there and she does come back, the same problem is there. You can't ever have like a really normal, healthy relationship until you've moved out and have your own place and are more established. But you need to do that for you and do it in a way that is good for you and your child, and hopefully with your ex too, if you can. But you don't want to really repair this when you're not out of the home, because the major issue is still there. She's still going to be hurt and disappointed and angry all the time. The next big issue you have to tackle is friendship. At this point, I would tell her, look, I can't be platonic with you. I can't be just friends with you. I'm not being honest with myself, and I'm not really being honest with you because I want more. And if you don't want more, I understand. You can call me if you change your mind. And at that point, you leave her alone. If she keeps reaching out, like she's been doing a lot of texting to you, you got to set your boundary and say, look, do you want to get together? And if she says no again, which I would assume she would, you're going to have to reestablish, look, please reach out if you're looking for more than just friendship. I can't be just friends with you. And if she talks about the complaints and why she can't be with you again, you have to tell her that you understand and it's something that you are actively looking at correcting or changing, and that if she wants to reach out to you again in the future, you would be open to it. And then you leave her alone and you let her realize who you are and how you showed up in her life. Just make sure that you're moving out because it's what you want to do. Do it for you and your child to have a good relationship and have a good home for them to go to and split their time with, and a good setting that is healthy for everyone involved. Leave her be. She'll probably reach out. She'll continue to reach out. So I think you're going to have to set some boundaries here with her so she really understands that you want more than friendship. Okay, so hopefully this one's been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get my help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. You can also get my workbooks and creative healing course only on my website. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.